Well, howdy folks, KDOG back here. I thought I'd come on here first give a little message to tie into this, and because there's some troubling things that's going on in this society that we live in. I think there's some things I need to get off my chest here before I continue on with this marathon. Okay, yes, I am a fan of Disney. However, I am not a big fan of woke Disney, okay? But I want to make this clear to everybody that if you click on this video, you are welcome to sit and listen to my comments and my points of what I have to say about movies. These are just movies to me, okay? But however, this is where it's really troubling. We're living in troubled times, and where truth and feelings get blurred. And I'm not out to offend anybody. I'm not out to hate anybody. Everybody is welcome to this channel. And everybody is welcome to view, participate, like, dislike, whatever. But please note that where I stand is on truth and not based on hatred. If you are woke, you are welcome to watch or not watch, whatever. But I'm forewarning that I am going to speak the truth. I'm not proud of what Disney has done in recent years. Okay, it's some of their political agenda. Okay? That does not mean that I hate people. I just have a firm disagreement, and what I know is truth. So, I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not to step on toes. I am just here to point out entertainment, okay? I try not to make things political, but these are the times we live in, and it's very troubling times. But that being said, let's continue on with the reviews. Forget the politics. Let's click in right into some reviews here. We're continuing on our series with the Disney romance, so I got a special one today. So let's roll the intro. Welcome back. Yeah, I thought I'd better get that out of the way because I'm afraid of some people accusing me of being hypocritical or double standard or anything like that. But again, all are welcome to my channel. Hope you do come enjoy your stay. Agree, disagree, whatever. Yeah, today we got a real special one. I was contemplating whether to put this in or not, but because Disney doesn't, I don't think they really consider it to be a part of their animated films, but it pays homage to their animated films. And even though it's part live action, part animation, and it does have some bleed through. What am I talking about? I'm talking about 2007's Enchanted. Yeah, this one's kind of a... Bet you thought I was talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Gotcha. But no, this is from 2007, and clearly if it wasn't for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I think we wouldn't have had this. However, this film gets in a little bit more sophisticated visual effects. While Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the visual effects were done optically, which means that they had to shoot one piece of film and the animation was done on another piece of film, and they ran it through a machine called an optical printer using nothing but film and combined the elements together. Well, with Enchanted, you have hand-drawn animation mixed in with live action, but it was done digitally. So the computer has, using CGI, has made things easier, and it looks a bit more seamless, because there's even some shots I was going, that was pretty impressive to have the villain only appear through a pot of boiling water, and well, we'll get into a pot of boiling water, and give the object that what she wants to take out the heroine, or the heroine, and when it passes through another world, passes through in between worlds, it goes from animation to live action, and very seamless. And it was quite impressive. But this film is a complete homage to Disney animation, mostly of the classic princess animation and like the Renaissance era and the classic fairy tales. Because there are elements in Enchanted that are very homage to Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and as well as Beauty and the Beast, and gosh, I'm trying to think, like, yeah, a very homage to Beauty and the Beast, and you know, like any of the basically princesses here. But here we have Princess Giselle, played by Amy Adams. She lives in this fairyland called Andalasia, and just like in typical Disney fashion, she has a prince that she's destined to marry, and that would be Prince Edward, played by James Marsden. Now, the thing of it is, Prince Edward is pretty brainless. He's pretty dumb. Or I shouldn't say dumb, but he's pretty clueless. Giselle is clueless as well, but she's a bit more informed. While Prince Edward, he's about being, you know, he slaughters one thing, but he'll do the pose and forget, like the fire that's burning, you know, burning someone's house down in the background, if you know what I mean. That type of person. And then we have Queen Azaria. I forget how to pronounce her name, but played by Susan Sarandon. It's basically the evil queen. She's an evil stepmother, so she sets up a plan to get rid of Princess Giselle by sending her into this well that is like a portal from the animated world to reality. And she turns up in modern day Times Square, New York, where she meets up with Robert Phillip, who is a divorce attorney, and she begins to fall in love with him, but he's engaged to he's engaged to a woman named Nancy, played by Idina Menzel. And of course, Robert has a daughter by the name of Morgan. They live together in this apartment, and and then Giselle comes into their lives, and very much like in the tradition of Snow White, she comes and she sleeps there, but wakes up and realizes, oh my gosh, this is a bachelor pad. Even though he has a daughter, this is very much a bachelor pad. He's very untidy, and like, I'll be guilty of this. Clothes are lying everywhere, dishes are in the sink, and things of that nature. And so she decides to bring along some furry friends to help clean up the place. And of course, the whole entire time, Robert thinks that she's crazy, because she still thinks that she's in the fairy tale land. And first, before I get any further, Robert here is played by Patrick Dempsey, who was on Grey's Anatomy at the time, so that it was a perfect fit, Disney to cast him. But he's just a pretty straightforward guy, with divorced dad with a daughter, and he's trying to help this girl out, get her away, and of course he's engaged to another woman, and things don't look so well. But then Giselle says, well, why don't you tell her how you really feel about her, by just send her some flowers, express yourself, is basically what she's saying. And she of course does it in a song. and this is another bridge between, like I said, this is an homage, okay, to all the Disney princesses and animation and the fairy tales that have been told, okay? So it's natural to have the music and score done by Alan Menken, who pretty much did most of the popular films of the Disney Renaissance, like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Hunchback, yeah, and brought along lyricist Stephen Schwartz to do the music for this film. So, and of course, sends flowers to, they send flowers to her office, and of course Nancy is she's like, oh, how romantic. And they find out that there's a ball going on, and so Giselle gets them a couple tickets to this ball, and of course she meets up with Prince Edward, and it seems like everything's going to be okay, like she's going to marry Prince Edward. Well, the Queen isn't too happy. And here's the other twist about this. The Queen is the prince's evil stepmother. Not the princess's, the prince. That's a different take, because usually with Cinderella or Snow White it's usually the stepmother. It's usually the princess's stepmother that's the evil queen or whatever. But and she has a henchman by the name of Nathaniel. And she sends him into the reality to give her a special fruit to eat. The apple. Gee, where have we seen that before? Snow White. And of course it all ends up at the ball, and where the Queen finally turns up in a realistic state, then turns into a dragon. And the other twist is that it's the princess who has to save her prince at the end of the film. So, yeah, it's quite an entertaining film. The film is directed by Kevin Lima. Kevin Lima, I know his background. Let me double check here. is in animation. He did direct. He did direct Tarzan and a Goofy movie, or one of the directors. But he's done some other live action films like 102 Dalmatians, and of course this film. But yeah, and the whole film, like I said before, is an homage to Disney animation, Disney princesses, and Disney fairy tales. It does give an interesting take on, basically Giselle is, if you take Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, or whatever you take, yeah, you take Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, a little bit of Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and Cinderella, mix them all together and you get Giselle. And then put her into reality. As a matter of fact, they were real careful to incorporate several homages. By that I mean, you know, the whole, when she cleans Robert's apartment, you have the animals cleaning the house, which is, you know, while singing a song, you know, which is Snow White references. And then you have Cinderella scrubbing the floors with her image coming through the bubbles and stuff like that. And the queen, she's kind of a mix of the evil queen from Snow White and Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. Because at the end she turns into this huge dragon, and then Prince Edward, he's pretty much your standard fairy tale prince, but a bit more goofy and a bit more, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a bit clueless. He's a bit clueless. As a matter of fact, there's a scene where he's watching TV and thinks it's a magic mirror. So, yeah. And then you have several cameos by Disney alumni. You have such as Jodie Benson playing the receptionist Sam, with a very small part. And of course, Idina Menzel playing Robert's girlfriend, Nancy. This was before Frozen, so, but, yeah, foreshadowing homage there. And then you have Paige O'Hara making a cameo in a soap opera on the TV set. And, of course, the narrator of the film is Julie Andrews. So you squeeze in a little bit of Mary Poppins in there. So it's a film that is just paying homage to Disney animation and Disney fairy tales, and it's quite entertaining. I was surprised to see that it was quite entertaining. I haven't heard too many things about the sequel, which came to Disney Plus, which is called Disenchanted. Supposed to, 15 years later, but I haven't heard too many things about it. I've heard, it's, I don't know. It's probably something I'll have to check out myself on Disney Plus. But yeah, and it even incorporates, the animation was not done by Walt Disney Feature Animation, unfortunately. According to the credits, it's by James Baxter. James Baxter Animation, who provided the hand-drawn animation. However, James Baxter, along with the animators, were Disney animation alumni. Because he brought on people like Andreas Deja and several key hand-drawn animators who were responsible for the Disney Renaissance. Because I think by this time Disney had given up on their hand-drawn animation studio. By that time I think it was completely converted over to CGI and producing movies, like Tangled and Frozen, and they were completely CGI animation by this time, and so they had to rely on basically another studio, but they were all alumni from the Disney Renaissance animation. And so they know, and with that you get that type of animation that only Disney was known for. And so it was confusing to me. Hey, this wasn't done by Walt Disney Feature Animation. Even though Disney did release it, it was not done by their studio, the hand-drawn animation part. But at the same time, it was people who had worked for Walt Disney Feature Animation, so they kind of knew how to do the style, and they created a story that is completely right out of the book, what looks like this style of animation. And so they knew what to do in order to pull off this homage. Now, when things appear in the real world and they bring in the fantasy element, well, of course, that's brought to life by modern computer visual effects. Matter of fact, that was provided by Tippett Studio, and they kept it very much like, obviously you can tell that this is from a fairy tale world, and the fairy tale world stepped into reality, and so what would that look like when you use, well, it's going to look like it's CG, okay? So, but it's got the typical Disney beats of hitting that fairy tale check marks. And so I'm considering it because not only that, it's a love story, it's got the music, it's got the look, it's got the feel of Disney romance. And so, and of course, they live happily ever after, at least until the sequel. But so, I think that's about all I got to say about it, really. But yeah, Enchanted from 2007. Do check it out. It's available on Disney Plus, as well as the sequel. I haven't seen the sequel yet, but yeah, I think that's pretty much what I'm going to say. So, from me to you, see you later.